Hello and welcome to the FSGB Limited Cost Accounting Spreadsheet. I'm going to take you through how to use this spreadsheet, give you a tutorial and show you the perks of this spreadsheet and why it can be used as an alternative to using Xero, QuickBooks, Sage, all of the above. It is practically a cheaper system for small businesses, small sole proprietors, partnerships. It is not to be used as a double entry bookkeeping alternative, and it is not to be used as an alternative for a proper accounting software if you are a limited company. This is only for small businesses and sole proprietors, partnerships, any in which do not require statutory reporting. This will keep track of your expenses. It will show you what income you should show to HMRC and what allowable expenses you have used to basically deduct from you paying tax practically, but it cannot be used to replace any double bookkeeping system. It's only a single bookkeeping entry system. Firstly, I'd want to bring your attention to the first tab, which should come up when you go onto the spreadsheet. This is the important information tab, and it is basically there to prevent you from overriding the master copy. You realistically want to, when you go on here, quickly click File, Save As, and save as a copy to anywhere else in your computer. I'm not going to do it now, obviously, because I have the copy, but you will need to do that in order to not disrupt the master copy in case anything goes wrong. Obviously, I'd be happy to still send you another one if there is anything that has went wrong, but to avoid any mistakes or anything, you just want to kind of save as a copy. Once you've done that, you can quickly go down here and click delete. This will get rid and ensure that you know there is nothing else. I'll quickly stray away from these as they will not work yet. So next, after you delete that, you want to go to the setup down here and the initial info. Now, I'm going to use an example company to set up these accounts. So don't take anything from this information. This is just a standard example company, let's say. What I'll do first is go through the business information, and I'm gonna do a company that is called Betty's Cakes. So the name, we want the address 123 Betty Lane, BN111P PU. If I can get this right, very sorry. The point of contact, I'm just going to put Betty and then a phone number of 07111 111 111 and Betty at bettyscakes.com. So after that, we can then go on to the accounting information, and we want to get the period from and to. So one big thing to point out in this is that any which are coloured in this ready salmon color, this light ready salmon color, you do not need to change. This is usually just formulas. The sheet will obviously be protected as well, so you won't be able to change them, but you want to avoid trying to change any of these. You just want to try and put any information which is blue. So in this one, we can see the period from and to. This first box is the period from. So we want to put in the 6th of April 2023, and this will automatically work out what the end date will be. One thing to point out, and you can see as it is a leap year, this is not coming up to the 5th, so all you would need to do is in this box place an L, and it will register the whole system as being a leap year. Next, you want your tax reporting deadline. This is just to keep you aware of when the tax reporting is. One thing that is pretty cool that is on is a typical reporting date. It should show you that usually in the UK for online, it will be, for this reporting period, it will be the 31st of Jan 2025. So I'll just put that 2025. And then the typical payment date is also the 31st of Jan 2025. Next, we have some things that will change the dashboard. So we'll go in and say our sales target this year is £150,000, and we want our our net profit target to be £10,000. Let's say we've got 3 staff members. We want to change our account. So our wages account is the employee and staff salaries, wages. Don't worry, I'll go into the chart of accounts in 1 second, but for the minute, I'm just going to put these in. Training courses for employees and direct labour is these labour costs. And for these two, they don't matter too much for me at the minute. I'm just going to put 0 in each. You could put 0 in each for all of these. It wouldn't make too much of a difference, but it is just best to fill them out as much as you can. Next, we will go to the chart of accounts. This is an editable chart of accounts. You can basically see there's each area: sales, cost of sales, other income, business expenses, and other items. Now, it is important to note that you do not want to go anywhere outside of these boxes. You also want to avoid, once you've started putting in data, putting in transactions, you want to avoid changing the chart of accounts. There will be a bit of an issue if you change something where a transaction's already been put in. Let's say there's the internet bill and there's a transaction already towards that internet bill, it will create a bit of a problem, but the system will do well in picking it up and showing you where there is an error with the chart of accounts. You also want to note that in the business expenses area, these are all the UK allowable expenses. So you want to make sure if you're putting anything in the business expenses, that is an allowable expense as per legislation. You don't want to accidentally give a wrong figure. These are all, as of now, which is the 23rd of the 6th, 2024, these are all the UK allowable expenses. You can add them at the bottom as well, any additional ones you would like to provide, and other items is another. If you're unsure if it's an allowable expense, it could be wise just to put it in the other items. From here, we can go on to the vendor list. This is another list where you can put down your approved vendors. It can keep you on track of the vendors that you allow and the vendors you don't allow. Personally, you don't have to use this, but it's always good just to be there, just in case. We're going to skip over these due tabs. We will pick them up in a second, and we're going to move over to the bookkeeping tabs. Now, this is how the standard bookkeeping tab will be presented. This is where all of the information will be stored, and if you want to ensure you're on the correct month, there is a month start date up here and a month end date. No transactions should be outside of these dates, but don't worry, because the system will keep you aware that there is an issue with any dates or transactions. I'm just going to go ahead and fill in some of the transactions that we need. For example, within the first month, let's say there's an initial investment from the owner. We want to put the date that transaction was. Perfect example of the warning system. The date is completely wrong. So there is a date error up here with showing the invoice of where it's wrong. But we're going to put in the correct date now. We want the type, so we want to know, are we getting paid or are we paying a receipt? So you get the two options. A receipt is money coming in, a payment is money going out. So obviously money's coming in because we're paying it in. We want to go to our chart of accounts, owner's capital. There's no vendor for this transaction. We'll put a reference as an initial investment. And then I'm going to put the amount as 7,000. So as you can see, the non-profit items has just come up with 7,000 to show that the owner's capital has come in. Now, this next one, we're going to show a payment for rent. So type payment, rent. You can either also scroll down these chart of accounts, or you can just type in a name and see if it comes up. So rent is an allowable expense, it's coming up. We're going to put in the vendor, Commercial Properties Co. And we're just going to put monthly rent right here for 600. Next, we are going to do for 2023. We're going to do a payment for our gas and electric utility bills. And we're going to do this one to Octopus Energy, and we're just going to put gas and electric 150. For 2023, I'm going to do a payment employee and staff salaries, and we're going to do this one as wages to Sue and Kelly in marketing. Sometimes it can be a bit slow to update, but you get the picture. 3,000. This is a payroll tax. It's a payment. You can see also every time we put a payment, it will come up with a minus on the this tab here. It's just to show what it's going to come up with in the statement for profit and loss, the income statement. We're also going to do a payment to our baker. This will be a labor cost. As you can see, this is a cost of sale instead of an allowable expense. So we'll put it in a different category. We're just going to put it to wages to Brian in bakery. 500. And that comes up under the cost of sales instead of allowable expense. And we will also going to put in our employee payroll tax. On wages, 200. Now we're going to do an insurance policy, 12th of 4th, 23. 2023. As a payment. Insurance policy. No. business insurance, £63. 14th 04 2023. This is going to be our internet bill. We're going to do this to EE. Monthly internet 25, and then we're going to do another one as in our phone bill. 2023. Mobile phone, back to EE. As you can see again, you don't have to put anything in the vendor tab. It's not a necessary thing. It's just for you to keep track of. And if you've made something to a vendor which you're not sure of and it's not coming up, it could be something for you to investigate. Phone bill 26, and then we only have a few more left. So 18/04 2023. Payment materials. We're just going to put end of month flour. So it's 300. Next, the 20th of the 5th, 2023. Oh, so you can see here again another date issue. It's telling them at the top. Just need to fix this, and it should go back to normal. End of month eggs 300. 22/04 2023. Another payment materials. End of month butter, and that is 520. And then 24th of the 4th 2023, we can say that all of our receipts. So you can see here there's sales, but I don't want to put it as sales, so I'm going to go into the chart of accounts. I'm going to create a new sales, and I'm just going to put bakery sales. Bakery sales. And we're going to say that the sales for this month was 9,800. Accounts of sales to date. So I'm going to conclude that as our first month. You can still add to this all you want if you realize that you've spent more. There's other things you can change the month, which is all fine as long as these are all great. This is usually fine. Obviously, you do bank reconciliation, but there was also a system you can do a bank rec in this. It will also show you how the bank rec goes. We'll go back to the initial. We'll go to the bank statement page, and show how this works next. So you obviously don't want to individually put every single transaction in. It's a bit annoying. So this sheet helps you in basically just automatically doing that, so you don't have to worry. So if I go over to my bank statement, just give it a second to load. This is the bank statement from 123 Bank. It's obviously a made-up bank. You can see here the opening balance, which is 9986, the closing balance, which is 9322. and you can see all of the transactions throughout this month between May the 6th and 5th of June. Very conveniently, May the 6th or the 5th of June. Obviously, you can decide on the dates. You'll have to pull out the accurate dates. You can usually do this with any bank. Just pull out the dates that you want. It must be in an Excel format, which most banks also do. All I want you to do is to copy this information as so, and then it is very important that you follow this step very particularly. You want to go to this K2 right here. You want to right click. You don't just want to paste normally. You want to go to this paste special and paste as a value. And as you can see, they all come up like this and all down. If you do not paste as a value, it will mess up the system. So you must be sure to paste as a value every time. Remember, right click, paste special, values only. That is exactly how you want to paste it. After this, you want to come to the top and you want to categorize everyone which is important for you to use. You could just individually do them, but you want to get it in this kind of format. So for this one, the transaction ID doesn't mean anything to us. It's not important. We have our own ID, so we're going to ignore column K first. On the date, that is important. We need the date, so at the top, we're going to put date. In the next column, M, we want to, it's from these accounts, so what these bank accounts, so we want to basically put in that these are the vendors. We then also see that this is some sort of reference tab, so we could just easily enough put it as reference 1. And the amount is the main important bit. We're going to put that as the amount. As you can see, it also changes the type and changes it to the correct number. So it doesn't matter if there's minuses on here, it will change it based on that. Next, you want to highlight all of these, not the top row. You just want all of the data that it came from there, and you want to again copy this, go over to the month you want it to put in, and again paste special and as a value, and this will come up just as so and will update as required. You do just sometimes have to give it a bit with Excel and it should update. Right, I'm going to quickly go ahead and edit the rest of the months and come back to you. Welcome back. I've just completed all of the months from month 3 up until month 12. These are all now completed. One thing I completely forgot to show you, which I'll do now, is the month 2. Once you've imported all of the bank statement data, you then want to put a chart of account, obviously, like you would need to do that. So I'll just quickly go along and do those. Rent, utilities, wages, payroll, no, on more wages, sorry, this is for individual people. Payroll, labor, payroll, insurance, and sales, bakery sales. You can see the vendor, it once you paste it as a value, it doesn't matter too much if you've got these in the vendors or not. Which is fair enough, because if it comes from the bank, it's probably going to be the correct vendor. Next, what I'm going to quickly do before I show you the income statement, which will now be all ready as I have um, done all of these, I'm going to show you how to put in the bank information. So you want to ensure that the start and end of the months you put in these days. So for April, you want the start date to be the 6th of April, not April the 1st. You want to put in what your bank account was on each one of those days. So at the start of this April, it was 0, and at the end, 9986. Then the next month, I would like to put 9322. This is in order to ensure that you're doing a bank reconciliation. These figures you will want from your actual bank statements, just to make sure that you have not missed anything, put anything in additionally that is not correct, as that could cause issues. Through 6, and then it will show you automatically the change every month of these. Next, I'm going to show you the income statement. This tab down here, and this will show you, if I can get it open, there we go. This will show you a breakdown of absolutely every chart of account and what's come in and what's come out. So you can see, as a normal statement would go, you've got sales at the top, breakdown of each one of the sales. If you would like, you could also just collapse this to show just the sales total. You've got the cost of sales. You can see the labor cost is here, the materials are here, and the spend on them every month. Also reduce this down, which then gives you the gross profit margin for each month. I failed to mention as well, this is monthly breakdown, quarterly breakdown, yearly breakdown. You can also hide them as you go along. If you just want the yearly one, you could click down these two, and it just shows you the whole profit for the year. But I want to show you all of them. Go down here, you've got other income. There was none this time for this year, there was just normal income. All of the business expenses which you can claim against. And then you can show your net profit. This is the profit that allowable expenses have come off from. And then you also have your non-profit movements here. The owner's capital, you've got loans, everything that wouldn't be included in an income statement. And then also at the bottom here, we have a bank reconciliation to show you the figures inside the accounting system and through what you have input from the bank to show you the discrepancies. As you can see here, there is a £270 discrepancy in month 1, in the April month. So I will check that out in a second. I just firstly want to show you the dashboard. So this right here is the dashboard, which shows you all of the information that you need. We can firstly see that the total sales for the year is £90,640. You can also see down here how close you were to reaching your target. We weren't quite there on this time. It wasn't 100%. But as you can see over here on the net profit, we did reach 100%, which is great. You can also see the gross profit margin, which is 70.34, which can also be changed to the net profit margin just by clicking the top and changing it. There's a tiny bit of an error on here, but on yours it will work. The revenue per employee, so you can see per each employee there has been £12,201.33 revenue. This is taken off their wages, all of their training, basically to show you how much you're making per employee. It can be a good indicator to see if you're using too many employees. If your sales are quite high, but your revenue per employee is in the minus, there could be issues with too much staff. The minimum cash requirement, which is 0, and that is because of the information right here we failed to upload. This will just tell you how much cash you need in your bank account at any one time because to match your expenses. We can see here the return on capital is 58%. You put 7,000 in and you returned 10,000, showing that there is 50. You got 58% of your money back. You got your money back plus 58%. We can also see here our top spend on non-direct expenses. So on our allowable expenses, we can see our highest was the employee staff salaries. Our second highest was the employee payroll tax. There was rent as well and utility bills. The one thing to note, if there are two figures the same, it will start to struggle on picking out which one it is. This is just a system error, unfortunately, but it shouldn't. There's a rare chance that you're going to have two the exact same. It just is a bit of an issue. We have utility bills and our insurance policy. We can also see here our profit, our sales profit, our sales at the top. We can see our net profit at the bottom and our gross profit in the middle. You can see where that's going. Our sales breakdown, which seems to be having a bit of a fumble at the minute, but surely should not have any sort of issues when you come to download it. This usually would just give a breakdown of the sales. We can also see our warning indicators right here, which there is a bank reconciliation warning, and we can see here there is an issue. So I'm going to quickly check out this one right now. And I think the issue is this cost of sales material. You can see there's an error. Well, you can't see, but there is an error where I've just accidentally put a 2 in the middle instead of on the edge. Once I've cleared that, I can go back to the dashboard and we can say there is no issues. There is also a dates issue to show you if there's any dates, which we were on about up here. If there are any date errors, it will appear. Let's just create one, for example. There is an issue, comes up as an issue, shows there is a problem. We can also see here payments and receipts. I've not shown you this yet, but I will now. You can see in our due tabs, there are payments that are due and receipts that are due. So our trade payables, or just payments due, probably for a better word, we can list all of the ones we're expecting to make. So let's say we have a bill in the future. I will go ahead and populate this. let's say there's a bill for the today is the 23rd, so we're going to do 23rd of the 6th, 2024 to show that today is the day we're putting it in. The date we are due to pay could be the 27th, 2024. And we're going to put this in a cost of goods for resale. We've bought goods, and you can put vendor reference, but I'm not going to put anything. I'm just going to put that we owe £500. Now let's say, oh, I remember yesterday I did in fact pay this. I'm going to put the 22nd. I paid this yesterday, which was 22nd, 2024. And as you can see, it is all fine. It is automatically switched to paid. You could also change it back to no if you wanted to, but it should automatically update to being paid once you put the pay date in. I'm going to do a few more of these. So the 23rd of the 6th, 2024, today's date, and let's say we have one due for tomorrow. This is also for goods for resale, and it is £503 this time. It is not paid. We can see at the top it is due within 1 week, so we can get ready for it. There's £503 that we're going to have to pay, so it's good to keep a track of that. If we come back to the dashboard, we can see at the bottom there is one that is not due yet. Next, we'll include another one. This is for the 23rd of the 6th, 2024, and the date we're going to pay is today. Now, there is a little thing in the system which will highlight that this is due today. Once this comes up in orange, it means be warned, you need to pay this today. Let's put this for 1,003. As you can see up here, payments due today, £1,003. We can go over to the dashboard again to show a little highlighted section to say we have a payment due. Not only this, but if I put today's date again, and let's say there was a payment yesterday, 6/2024, it will highlight red to show that we should have paid this already but have not. Let's put 502. And this will also give a warning on the dashboard to show that we have one bill that is past due. But let's say, no, we don't have to worry. We did pay that yesterday on time. It will automatically cancel out and will remove the mark from here to show that it has been paid. This is exactly the same for the receipts due. So this is just the money we're expecting in. 2024, let's say we're due one tomorrow. 2024, and it is in sales. We want bakery sales, sorry. And we're due in 820. It'll show just the same on the dashboard under the receipts. We have one that is not quite due yet. If we put this down, we'll add two more. 2024 to show that it is due today. And one that is due tomorrow. Bakery sales, 590. and it will highlight again on here to show that there is a problem. And then on the day paid, obviously, once we get paid, let's say we got paid today, we can add in that we were paid today and it will take it off. And so that basically concludes the full breakdown, full tutorial of how to use your FSGB cost accounting spreadsheet template. If there are any issues, my email is always open for queries. It's luke.dees. I will actually write this along here, but you will also get this in once you purchase at fs.gb.com. fsgb.com. Help if I could write this correctly. fsgb.com, and I will try to reply as soon as possible to your issues and queries. But this is a very efficient system. It has took many months' work to build, and it is really, really good for any small businesses that just need to keep track of expenses, that need to show HMRC. I do have to advise that anything in these sheets, including the chart of accounts, they are at your own discretion. I'm not taking any responsibility in case anything is incorrect. For example, with the chart of accounts, any allowable expenses, it's not advice of what to use. It's just a general recommendation onto the HMRC business expenses. You would have to do your own research to ensure that they are okay. But that concludes the tutorial. I hope everything will go well, and I really hope that this tool can be useful for you. Thank you very much if you've purchased, and if you haven't purchased, I really do recommend this system. I use it for myself. It is a very good system to keep track of any accounts, any transactions, and I would be lost without it. QuickBooks and Xero, they're good, but they are very costly, and this is designed just to make it not that costly, really. So thank you very much for listening, and I hope everything goes well.